What is up? Welcome to the channel. And for today's video, I'm going to be discussing how to double your Jeep's tire life. But first, for a moment, let's just take a second and observe how nice and shiny it is in the middle of winter almost. Well, more toward the end. But I just took it to a car wash, got it all clean and rinsed off, and literally soaped it down along with the frame as well. I would have done it outside, but it's like 30 something degrees out, so I wasn't about to break out the water bucket and everything in that weather. But how to double your tire life. So when it comes to your tires, they get faded no matter what. As you drive them, they're going to continue to fade, whether you have a road tire, all-terrain tire, or a mud tire. It's just what happens to tires. But there are ways you can slow this process down and get as much use out of the money that you paid for these things as possible. First thing, number one, pick yourself up one of these little tire pressure gauges. They're pretty cheap. They're maybe like $4 to $6. And just make sure your tire pressure is correct. But something that you'll notice with your tires is that usually somewhere along the tire wall, they will say a maximum PSI, which is just a fancy term for tire pressure, and never fill it up to the maximum whatsoever, because that's going to provide additional wear on your tire, and you probably have a better chance of getting a flat tire as well. Because when you fill it up to the maximum PSI, what happens is the very top of your tire treads up here start bubbling out more because there's more oxygen and everything in your tire, so it's constantly trying to expand, right? So mainly where it starts doing it is right here on your tire treads up top. That's why you see a lot of people, when they're changing out tires, they always have the middle of their tire treads are always way flatter than the sides, right? Now this can be different, it doesn't always mean the same for like some of those tire treads, especially mud tires where, there's even more treads that come off on the tire wall. But that's a totally different story. That's a little unpreventable. But make sure that the top of your tire is always as flat as possible. There are some ways to see how flat your tire is. Like, by flat I mean smooth and straight. And the first thing you can do is get a ruler and just lay it kind of like that, just using that as an example. Just lay it like that. Try to balance it as much as you can in the middle. And at any point, if you see on each side that the ruler, for example, if that's what you're using, is rising higher than your side treads, then that could be an indication that you might need to air down your tires a little. Another old trick that you can do is take any kind of sidewalk chalk, doesn't matter, and just kind of scrub it all along your tire treads, right? And just scrub it all along there and just roll down your driveway or up your driveway again and come back and look at your tire treads. Look and see where most of the chalk rubbed off. That's probably the most accurate way to tell. But yeah, just make sure, and if you have like any of this going on to where, like, let's say it's wearing on top, maybe air it down. If it's wearing on the sides a little bit, air it up a little. But yeah. But a really quick thing to notice and pay attention to is that you should never put the maximum tire pressure in your tire, because even though it says, like, for this, for instance, it says I can go up to 44 psi, I choose to ride at 35 because 35 is a nice flat and smooth surface for me. And you also never want to fill your tire up to the maximum psi, because if you do that, it's going to have absolutely no give on the roads, because believe it or not, your tire is designed to absorb some shock waves from the roads and bumps you hit, and you want them to have some kind of grip on the road, especially when you're in the winter. And if you completely air up these tires to the max, you're really not going to be getting the full use out of your treads that you need. So yeah, I put mine at 35 psi. It's a nice, comfortable. It's solid, but at the same time, it's all even and it's nice, and I really like it. Another thing you can do to prolong your tire life is whenever you get your Jeep taken down for an oil change or you do it yourself, get your tires balanced and rotated. This is huge, okay? When you get your tires balanced, okay? When you get them balanced, it's the tire's going to fit on there a lot smoother. It's going to be completely nice and even on the wheel, and that's how you're going to avoid getting any weird side tread fade going on, whether it's on the inside or the outside, because sometimes, your tire pressure can be correct, but that's off, so you'll experience fading in different places due to an imbalance somewhere. But you also want to get your tires rotated big time, because over time, your tires experience fade in certain places due to where they're located on the car. So for example, your rear tires are always going to get faded faster than your front tires, because usually, all standard Jeep people on the road drive in two-wheel drive, unless it's horrible road conditions, and the rear wheels is where all of the power is going first, right? These are the tires that are going to start moving first every single time. So that's another reason why you want to get your tires rotated, right? And also you'll realize that the treads will start wearing a certain way after time. They actually will adapt to where they are, and they will actually start like fading in a certain pattern of where it is on the car, right? So get them rotated, do that, and always incorporate this spare tire in here, okay? Because if you get a flat at some point ever, you always want to be able to have the spare be somewhat comparable traction-wise to your other tires, or else you're going to have all this traction in one tire, but you're not going to have all this other traction in these other tires. So do that, and you'll be solid. One last tip, and this is for your spare, is to never put those covers on your spare tire, because you always want this to be exposed to the elements just as your normal tires are that you have on, because like I said, you want them to be able to be getting the same wear and stuff as all your other tires. Like I said, you don't want to pop this open and have it be an amazing tire compared to a very bad tire. So that can just be solved simply by rotating them and not putting those tire tarps or whatever you call over them. But yeah, so that's pretty much how to add or double your tire life on your Jeep. I hope this video was very informal to you. If you found something useful, please like and subscribe. If you found something useful that you think someone may find this useful, then share with them, share this video with them, and thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one.